right, everyone. Hello and welcome to our weekly 30-minute webinar. My name is Jim Schultens. I'm a system engineer here at Variphy. And once again, I'm joined by my buddy Matt Sykes, aka Matty Ice, another system engineer here at Variphy. For today's webinar, we're going to talk about our change management feature. Matt will show us how to get it configured and show what type of reports you can create using this powerful tool. We're going to start off with a quick overview of our company and what we do. We'll jump into a live demo where Matt will teach us all about change management and how it can help with managing your UC environment. We'll pause for some Q&A, get some of your questions answered during the demo. If you do have any questions, make sure to ask them in the Q&A panel in the bottom right of the screen. After Q&A, we will reward one lucky attendee our $50 Amazon gift card. Make sure you stick around to see if you've won. All right, a quick overview of Variphy. Variphy is the preferred analytics and management solution for Cisco collaboration. We provide industry-leading CDR reporting and call analytics, customizable dashboards and widgets, UCCX contact center reporting and wallboarding, Ninja managed consulting services, our new Cisco Cube reporting, remote phone control change management, which we'll focus on today, and dial plan management. If you have any questions on any of these features, we can certainly take them offline and get those answered. All right, one more thing before we get to Matt. As I mentioned, Variphy has a managed consulting service that is available to our customers. Variphy's SE team will be engaged on a one-on-one basis to remotely provide additional consulting, unassisted reporting, dashboarding, configuration, and system monitoring assistance. The service that we provide dedicated Variphy SE to do the heavy lifting so you don't have to. For more information, please contact us and we'd be happy to speak with you more in depth about this service offering. All right, Matt, are we ready to get into the wild?
We are ready, Jim, yes.
All right, let me stop sharing here. Good to go.
Got my share option, sharing screen 2. And let me just drag off this lovely WebEx header. All right, hello everyone, good day. Matt Sykes with Variphy here. Today we are going to focus on our change management module. Mainly we're going to focus actually on more or less the log analysis portion of this module, but it is encapsulated underneath the change management audit function. So this module is made up primarily of these 3 options here: snapshot, comparison, and log analysis. Snapshot obviously takes not server snapshots. These are configuration snapshots of your CUCM, your UCCX, or your Unity server, CUC. So certainly primaries as well as secondary servers, we can pull down snapshot information and configuration results for them at a point in time. Now within my lab environment, this small one I've got here, I'm running these on a monthly routine, but definitely in production environments, we recommend that they run on a nightly routine so that we can be more finite and specific with when these changes are happening in your environment. Comparison gives us the ability to compare one snapshot against another or with real-time live configuration, so we can see all a nice report of all the changes that have made between one time frame to another. There can be on all supported data, or it can be very, very specific on certain subsets of information, whether or not we're keying off of IP phone registrations, device pools, etc. Okay, and the log analysis, the third option that rounds out the change management piece, gives us the who done it, for lack of a better term. The comparison reports will give you the what's changed. The log analysis will give us the who done it. So now, how we utilize our log analysis within this module is Cisco RTMT, or audit logs. So Cisco RTMT, which is Cisco real-time monitoring tool, is a plugin off of Cisco that needs to be utilized for to attain these logs, these audit logs, or even automate them as well for deliverables to Variphy so that we can ingest them and utilize them within the module as we see here. Now, a lot of environments I get into that have our change management module, sometimes they don't even have the log analysis set up. That's kind of what I want to focus on today, is kind of the setup and how to stage the RTMT plugin with these audit logs to get them automated and downloaded to Variphy on a nightly basis. Okay, so now first things first is, how do we get these logs in here? So we'll need RTMT, or Cisco real-time monitoring tool, but we'll grab that as a plugin off of Cisco itself. So I'm going to pick on this version 11 call manager because it's not in production. I'm going to log in with one of my shared administrator accounts real briefly here. We can download the plugin directly from the call manager webpage. On this routine, I'm going to be just focusing on CUCM, but certainly this applies obviously to Contact Center Express as well as CUC. Now logged into this version 11 call manager. Come on. Underneath the unified CM admin page, once this loads for us, I should have the option for applications, I believe. There it is. There's application, and here are plugins. So we'll open this up, and now I need to search for it. So I don't know the name by heart, but I definitely know it contains the acronym of RTMT. So I'll search that real briefly, and I should have two styles, one for Linux and one for Windows. Here they are. Okay. So I can easily go ahead and now, since I'm on a Windows laptop right now, I can certainly just download this right from this call manager webpage here. It's about an 82 meg file executable. Then you can certainly install it. I'm not going to install it because I already have it installed. But once you have that, then you can log into your call manager and pull down manual logs or even schedule the automated job to deliver those logs on a nightly basis to verify. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it. I have it on my taskbar here. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to open, so I'm just going to run it now just to get it open. But I'm going to take our eyes real briefly. Oh, it's making me log in. Excuse me. This .41. So this is our TMT spawning the login. And there's one more prompt. Just waiting on our TMT. And there's the 82. Here it is. Yeah, so about an 82 meg download from Call Manager for the Windows installer. I put in my shared account. And that'll take 2 or 3 minutes to load. Okay, so now having the plugin downloaded, and we will be able to use it in a moment. I'm going to facilitate that for everyone's eyes. But I want to take you back to Verify real briefly. Now, since I'm entertaining the CUCM2 cluster here, we're going to go to the settings gear in the upper right. I want to go to the cluster definitions first. So this applies to CUCCX as well as Unity. We're just focusing on CUCM here on this CUCM2. I see here the log analysis. Here's the path I have for audit logs to be ingested or delivered to this path here for our application to use them in the UI. But if this is not set up, we would need to edit the cluster. And at the very bottom of the cluster definitions, data retention, processing times, databases, etc., is log analysis. So down here we have our audit log directory. Now, since I'm using a Linux OVA in this lab, this .180 lab that I'm focusing on here today, this is the Linux path here that I want my logs to be loaded to, that the UI is looking at. Okay. So now our TMT is just loaded up. Let me pull this over here for our eyes. All right, so once again, this is a very basic lab environment, so I just have a default config list. But this is, our TMT, real-time monitoring tool. It is connected to my .41 Cisco version 11 call manager. And what we'll need out of this, there's a lot of stuff that can be done in here for analysis purposes and performance-based metrics and stuff like that. But for Verify's perspective, we're just going to look at the tools option here. So on the bottom left of this pane here, we're going to click into Trace and Log Central. Once we click on that, we'll see another bevy of options here in the middle here. We'll want to double click on audit logs, because that's what we need for the log analysis for the change management module of Verify are the audit logs from RTMT. Now we can download logs. I forgot to mention this. I did chat out at the beginning of this session. There should be in the WebEx chat a knowledge base article link to our website that shows kind of the functionality of how to download logs from RTMT, and he also even set up the automated job that we're going to do together here right now. Just want to make you aware of that since I didn't mention it earlier. But we're going to run through the manual download process right now. So there are 3 options to browse these audit logs or to manually download them. And then if you were to manually download them, you could certainly manually upload them into the Verify UI as well, which we will do with these. But also the preferred option is going to be the scheduled automated deliverable, which we'll get to in a few moments. But just very quickly, just running through with the quick download. Now this lab environment, I only have one call manager publisher. Your environment and production environment should probably have multiple nodes. I would think some subscribers as well as some IM and presence. We do not support IM and presence, so you'll want to uncheck those. Okay. In this example here, I'll just maybe point back to maybe the beginning of the week, looking for audit logs going back to Monday through right now. Let's throw them in an audit directory for me. Let's go to Matt's stuff here. Go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and zip these as well because there may be many of them. We don't want to delete them from the server just yet. We'll let the cleanup do that. We'll go ahead and run this job here. Now, what this will do is it will download them just to my machine's download directory first, and then we can in turn take that and upload it through the Variphy UI and then kind of parse through those, which we will in a moment. Those are being written over to an audit log directory I have right here. So we see they're being written to as we speak. We want the audit app logs. We're not going to be using the VOS logs or the XML file. Certainly they're there for review if you need to look at them. But we're going to be focusing on this guy. Now I could certainly unzip this and upload it manually to Variphy if I wanted to, but if it's a zip and I have multiple files in there, we can also upload the zip as well. It's going through a few extra audit logs at the moment. It should be wrapping up. All right, it's completed. It's done. Okay, so we have everything in here. So if we needed to, yeah, let me go ahead and just unzip this guy real briefly for the benefit of everyone's eyes. Extract this into this folder. Here we are. Tunnel in a little bit more. Let's go ahead and open this in TextPad. So this is what this range of audit logs looks like. Now, definitely not very appealing. Looks a little laborious to maybe kind of sift and sort through. So that's the luxury that you have with the Variphy log analysis within the change management module, is that we can very easily make this easier for you. Easily make it easier for you. So I'm going to ingest this file here or upload it through the UI. We'll come back to our TMT. We're going to jump into change management. I will segue over to log analysis. Now, I already have an automated job because I was working on this lab last night for this session, and I set up hourly audit log deliveries to this lab machine. So that's why I already have things here. Certainly, if your environment doesn't, you can certainly download those logs manually like we just did from our TMT, and then you can in turn upload them through the UI. So now I could either use the unzipped file that I had in there, or I could point at the whole zip if I have a whole slew of files that are in there. So I will want to pick on the audit app zip, or I could have tunneled in and used the single log file. Options, of course. Go ahead and upload that. And that will be represented, should be at the top of my list here, 11:09. Correct, this is in Pacific time. Okay, so if I needed to look at this log, I certainly can. I can analyze it now, even just with a quick manual download and upload. And this is going to be a lot easier to sift through, and we'll even turn on the user logging if need be. It's turned off by default. I have other options for filters. I can see what IDs are part of the changes that are actually in these logs, certain client IPs, resources, components, or I even have the search option that I can, maybe if I want to steal a keyword off of the comparison reports, I can certainly search for one of those in here, or I can search it nakedly for all of the events that are in here, which there are a couple thousand of them. Scroll on down, here they all are. These logs are ranging back to September 16th up through right now. So we definitely have the user logging in here. We know what users are logging in. We also can see the the shared login, as well as the IP from whence they browsed in the login. A couple of these are me. I will get to those in a moment, but very easy just for us to, just to use our TMT, just quickly download those audit logs and then upload them right into Variphy. Now, the preferred option, which is what we're going to go to right now, is going to be the automated delivery, which is also the second part in the knowledge base article that I chatted out earlier. So if we just kind of rinse and repeat here, and I'll double click on audit logs again. There pops up with our three options again. So now we can specify the automation or to schedule the delivery of the download of these audit logs. Once again, we'll specify what nodes we want included. We'll need to specify a scheduled time. Now, in my lab, I actually set them to hourly just for this example here, but definitely we recommend these probably be running on a daily routine, probably in the middle of the night. So as a documentation, actually the knowledge base article should kind of dictate the same. Probably point this to some hour in the middle of the evening, maybe during down and dormant time, to go ahead and run and gather all these logs. But then to run on a daily routine, we would not need to zip or delete from the file server, so you can leave those unchecked. Normally the start time frame, so if this was brand new to me, I may specify the time, like I mentioned here, to be some hour in the middle of the evening. So maybe I set it to 11:14 p.m. tonight and run it through. Maybe I'll just say run it for a few years. So now this job is always going to be running. I do not want to zip these, but I will want to download them. Now, once I click on the download option, I have another pop-out box here, the trace download. So now Now, the Variphy OVA that I'm using today already has an SFTP server built in. You may have a Windows deployment of Variphy. That's completely fine. There's certainly an FTP or an SFTP server that's sitting locally on that machine that's handling the influx of CDR files from Call Manager. So we can use the same mode of operation. But with the OVA, I'm definitely going to lean on SFTP. This .180 is my Variphy OVA lab. I know what my login is here. And the corresponding directory path that I had shown in the UI earlier, where we want these audit logs to be delivered to. So I have my path in here. Now I'll go ahead and run this connection. Now I do want to make mention though that RTMT on these scheduled jobs can be a little touchy. Now I ran into a couple hurdles last night myself. Now this one is successful. All that looks fine. Tonight at 11:14 p.m. these audit logs on a daily routine will start delivering into the same directory that I have an hourly job running to anyways. So let's click on the finish on that. That locks in that job. We'll look at that in a moment. But I do want to make mention here real briefly. Let me pull up a screenshot about how touchy RTMT can be on those automated jobs. So this was me last night working on some automation for the hourly job that I have that we'll take a look at in a second. But there's definitely a lot of things that need to be they could jump up and kind of block, let's say. Well, ciphers being number one. Now, the call manager billing server, the Variphy application normally handles most all the ciphers coming from Cisco properly, but RTMT seems to have some weird ciphers at times. We can certainly look at that and make reference or inclusions of those additional ciphers like I had to last night here. That's certainly one option or one potential hurdle or pitfall. Firewalls and then security layer permissions, of course. So definitely, just because if you get a refusal of this doesn't necessarily mean that something isn't working right on Variphy. It's just that the connectivity between RTMT and the Variphy piece via SFTP or FTP needs to align and be able to communicate bidirectionally. Okay. Now I have my daily job set up now. Okay, so that's good. You can also check your job status within RTMT as well. So I can go into job status here in the bottom left as well. And we can specify your node. Certainly, if you have you're probably going to have a publisher and a couple subscribers as well. You will need to set up an RTM job on all of those nodes individually. Well, excuse me, I take that back. The job setting up through the Trace and Log Central will create a job for all of them individually in the status window here. So you would have a pub, a couple subs, and you could certainly jump to whichever node you need to see and see existing jobs, pending jobs, and completed jobs. So now, certainly I was in here working on this last night, but also I have pending jobs. Now, what these pending jobs are scheduled tasks. I can double click on one of these and see exactly what it is. I'll click on 26. That should be my hourly job from last night. Let me pull this over. And sure enough, I have it running at 9:03 p.m. Pacific. That is correct. Every 60 minutes, coming to my .180 server. SFTP is true, correct, download. And then here's my directory of choice that I specified. Okay, that's good there. And the other pending one is probably the daily job we just created. Let me just slide this over here. And it sure is 11:14 p.m. going out to 2024 to my .180. Time is 24 hours. Okay, so that's the relative time frame for that job there. Obviously, you don't need two of them running at once. The daily one is going to be the one we would recommend, but for this lab exercise, I just want to have something at least auto-populating that directory for our eyes. Okay. So now what we can do is with those audit logs, we can very easily parse them. So they're loaded in here now, whether they were off the automated job or the manual one I just uploaded. I can look at either or. We've got 3,000 plus events to kind of key off of. Now, maybe we want to take a step back and just kind of give us a good walkthrough on these. So maybe an example is if I jump back to my snapshots, I only have a couple. I stole them from another lab actually, but I have going back to October 1st so I can see what this .41's configurations were set as. So I'm actually going to run a quick comparison report here. I'm going to run a quick comparison report against my oldest snapshot to my newest snapshot. So I'm going to go OC1. I'm not going to use real time. I'll use this morning's automated snapshot to node 3. I'll use all supported data. I'm going to go ahead and quickly generate that report. This will give me a nice PDF to show me that, that all adds, moves, and changes are all the MACDs that have taken place from October 1st to November 3 this morning. And we'll see if something jumps out at us. Just waiting on that PDF, should be along momentarily. And then from there, we'll certainly be able to see, what's been added, what's been changed, what's been removed. Now, I was in there tinkering around last night, so I know for a fact I've got some changes that we can certainly take a look at. This lab will just finish timely here with me. There we go. And just slide this over for our eyes. So here's the snapshot in this lab from OC1 to No3. Okay, sliding on down, I can see what's been added, what's been removed, and what's been changed. All right, let's take a quick look at what's been removed. Jump down here, I can see, okay, Victor and Dan's IP communicators were removed at some point between then and there. But also, what else am I seeing? We've got some application users that have been added, some IP phone registrations added, lines as well, even an access control group. All right, so we can tunnel into that as well. So this is not a big call manager environment, so that's why that's why there's limited changes here. Certainly in a production environment, there's going to be quite more, and there's going to be more sections in here, but we could funnel this down if need be. But for this exercise, let's see what has been changed. So I can scroll down this. I can see what's been added. Okay, well, that's interesting. A Rogue One user ID has been added. That's kind of interesting. We can see some MAC addresses that have been added. We can see a suspicious character. Well, that's an interesting device that has been added on mate for 0504. All right. This device is removed that we saw. Device added there with a new extension. Some CDP changes for Victor and Dan. And what else? And some lines added here. Suspicious characters, hack line. Okay, and Matt's test DN. Okay, so we see that these new ones have been added from November 1st to, October 1st to November 3rd this morning. So this gives us the what's changed. These are the MACDs. This is what has changed from said time frame OC1 to November 3 this morning. So now we have the log analysis logs that have been running in the background for me since last night hourly. I should be able to jump into log analysis, and actually, since this one, these test ones here, kind of keying back to September 16th, I don't need to grab more than one. I can grab the top one off the list here. I can go ahead and analyze these selected files, and from here, very easily parse this guy for us. So by default, again, user logging is turned off because it does make it much lengthier. I'll just show your eyes real briefly. It will list out those couple thousand. So I don't think we necessarily need to see all the user logging in ones, but definitely do know they are clocked, so we can kind of key up those if we need to. So maybe I'm just going to view everything that's outside of that. So once again, a light lab environment here, so I don't have that many events, but I can maybe blow up the screen for your eyes. We can see, okay, it's October 25th, what's been added, some Victor test stuff being added, but the stuff I was working on last night. Okay, we can see what IP I browsed in from on this shared line account. We can see what I did. We can see what I've changed, what I've added, what I've manipulated. I can see that a new phone's been added with a MAC of Matt test. I can see that the cal value was updated. I can see that the key name was updated as well as a new line here, no DN or pattern. Also, then a little later in the evening last night, I can see here that the same shared account on a different IP, just to let my thunder out of the bag here, that .201 is my lab IP. So this 10.230.201 is me on my Windows lab, one of my Windows labs. So this was me also then creating an end user. So it looks like Rogue One was created as an end user. All right, there was also a directory group that was created named Crazy Kaplans. Okay, we can see access given, Axle API given to that group. We can see admin user functionality given to that group. Also some CTI metrics also given to that group. Okay, so we can certainly see those role updates off of this .201. What else do we see here? Obviously, we can see, okay, we see now the application user, I believe, being added here, being updated, being given provisions, and also devices as well here and a DN. Okay. So we certainly see all that. Oh, and also at the very bottom here, I can see that I've got some failures. So I also can see now that newly provisioned app user, Rogue One, off that .201, which we know obviously is my Windows lab, was making failure attempts to get into certain pieces of Call Manager, trying to get into the phone find list, trying to get into the enterprise parameters, trying to get to the application users lists, certain phone find functionality. So we're logging all these failures and also can provide that to you in a report function to make you kind of aware of it, but also maybe responsive or reactive, if you will, when certain things are starting to happen within the environment. So that's definitely why we also have automation on our comparison reports as well. So these can certainly be ran on not just full system-wide information, but we can also tunnel this down to be maybe more device or user specific if we want. Now, I have no comparison definitions in this lab, but I could easily make some subsets where I'm filtering and only keying off in certain bits and pieces of Call Manager content, not all supported data, to make that a little more intuitive. But also from the comparison schedules, there's phenomenal functionality in the manner of a toggle. I don't have one at the moment, but let me just show you here. I don't have anything created. Okay, for another time then. All right, so that's kind of a the full show with the log analysis piece. Utilizing the RTMT to go ahead and get your hands on the logs, set up an automated job, and then it should be kind of set it and forget it, for lack of a better term. These files should be getting delivered to Variphy, and then you can very easily parse them through the UI at your leisure. Okay, so lastly, I do want to wrap up and say we do support this for this log analysis functionality for Call Manager, for Contact Center Express, as well as for CUC Unity. But the log analysis is not so much to place blame on certain individuals. I mean, but it does provide swift knowledge to assist the UC admin team to revert or resolve any issues or changes that may that have been made in error. Okay. If there's any questions or concerns on any of this content or this module, I mean, you can always feel free to contact the Variphy support department for any assistance needed with the module, or if you even want to evaluate on your existing Variphy system. Okay. I think that is my log analysis show for this week. Thank you, everyone. Jim, do we have any questions from the group on this week's webinar?
This week's been a quiet week, Matt. We don't
Okay.
have any questions, or you covered the material so well that there is no questions.
Let's go with that one.
I'm going with that too.
Fantastic. Okay. I do want to make mention to everyone that KB I did chat out earlier. You can very easily find that information on Variphy.com's website within our knowledge base section underneath support. It's underneath the change management module for audit log analysis overview and getting started. So definitely a lot of options here. This webinar video will be in our webinar section probably in the next day or two. So this video will be viewable at anyone's leisure from the Variphy website and on probably YouTube in the near future as well.
Awesome.
All right, so if there's
All right,
anything
Matt.
else to cover, I'm going to toss you the ball, Jim.
Yep, I will take it here.
Stop my sharing. There you go.
Sharing. Q&A out of the way, even though there wasn't any this week. So I think it's time to announce the winner. And this week's winner of the Amazon $50 gift card is Yama Gur. Yama, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. I tried it a couple different ways. Hopefully I got it right one of those times. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
You are this week's winner. Your account manager will be in touch with you shortly. And on that note, I will thank you all for attending this week's webinar. Make sure to join us next week. Victor and our marketing director, Phil Corbin, they will be showcasing our new online community plan at Variphy. Most of you have been there already, but we do have some exciting changes coming up. And with the point system and rewards, I should say. And it is the day before Veterans Day, that Wednesday. So we will have a special thank you for all our veterans who joined the webinar. So don't want to miss it, and look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you all. Take care.